We fly high, no lie. You know this. Pull it.
And with all that being said, I've decided to continue my athletic and academic career at the Stanford University.
Yes, sir.
Network, it means everything to me. Back when I didn't have all these offers, maybe like one or two, he was always promoting me, what I'm saying, trying to get me on the radar, this guy, you need to look out for him. What I'm saying? It really means, the world to me, Big, he's been there, like I said, since I've been small. Always shouting me out and always just trying to put me on, just give me notice more than I really appreciate Big.
I mean, shoot, I was the new kid. Faison kind of was with the Ducks for a little minute. So my first year, of course, he had all the hype. He was probably by like 6'2" at 12. He was a mutant. I ain't gonna lie to you. He was a mutant. But I mean, from then you could see just the potential he had. I mean, I'm not surprised he's the number one quarterback. If you would have seen him in youth ball, you would have thought he was the number one quarterback in that class back then. So I mean, like going against him kind of like prepared you already for like what high school was. I mean, he looked like a high school quarterback around that time. So I mean, like trash talking with him. He's more quiet though. I will say that he don't talk that much trash. But I mean, like trash talking with him, going out there and hitting drills with Faison. I mean, I kind of like just builds you ready. I mean, hopefully I play against him in college. I would love it.
As y'all know, this is the Sizzling News Podcast. What's going on, everybody, man? Welcome back to the show, man. Appreciate everybody tuning in, man. I got another video that's going to drop a little bit later, but we on the live. So, Coach, we're going to bring on Coach, defensive coordinator, Breone Adkins first. Coach Smiley, I know you're in the background if you can hear me. Coach is going to bring on about 8:15 if that's cool, Coach. I know you talked with Bacon. So we're going to bring you on 8:15, Coach. If that is cool, I'm going to hit you in the chat as well so you can hear me. But we're going to bring on Coach Breone Adkins of Newton, first and foremost. What's going on, Coach?
What's going on, my guy? How you doing, brother?
I'm doing good, man. Appreciate you coming on.
No, for sure, man. I appreciate you having me on, man. Love what you're doing for the guys. This is a great opportunity. I love to be on here and show what we got going on over in Newton, man.
Yes, sir, for sure, man. So, before we get started, Coach, just give us a little background, man. I know you coach kind of all over. I believe you know what I'm saying? You coached in different parts of Metro Atlanta. You got your feet wet. Tell us a little bit about your journey in coaching football.
Yes, sir. So, originally, man, I'm actually a Newton High School graduate, crazy enough. So I graduated from Newton, man. Went and played college ball. I actually played for Coach Skelton, who's our head coach at Newton right now, crazy enough. So played some college ball, was able to come back, and I started getting in the school system over at Salem High School under Coach Jared Laws, who's now the head coach at Morrow High School. A great dude, great guy to get my feet wet with. Showed me all the ropes, man. And then Coach Skelton was able to come grab me and get me back over at Newton. We were together about 3 years. This past season, I was at Luella High as the defensive coordinator, and now it's just a reunion. I'm back. I'm excited. A lot of the guys already know my systems and stuff, so we've been flying around, getting it going. But yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So I'm back home, ready to get going.
There it is, man. Back home where everything started for you. I know you're excited for this new challenge. So what are some things you've just learned along this journey, doing what you've been doing, Coach, and being able to learn from just different people, and that's kind of solidified you into what you are today?
No, for sure, man. My biggest thing, man, is like just belief in the person next to you. I think, when being able to create buy-in, being able to create alignment is more than being able to have the best player or being able to have the smartest coach in the room. Getting everybody on the same page, going the same direction is the most important thing. Train can go really fast, really good, but it got to be on the tracks to be able to do that. You know what I'm saying? So my biggest thing is just getting everybody on the same page, making sure we all align from a top-down standpoint. And I feel like long as you do that, where you have little gray areas in between, you always got an answer or a system to be able to fix those things. So that's the biggest thing I think I've learned over my journey so far. And I'm still trying to figure out ways to kind of streamline that process now.
100%, Coach. So when we talk about a Coach Atkins defense, I want you to define it for me. What does that look like? When I ask that question, a lot of people ask, like, what does that look like? Is it a fast fly around team? Is that a physical team? Like, what does that defense look like when it's Coach Atkins?
For sure, man. So for me, man, I tell my guys we want to feel like we are suffocating the offense. When they look out there, they want to feel like it's 16 of us out there rather than 11. We want to be able to, obviously, like you said, be able to fly to the ball, but by our alignment and being how we carry out our assignment, we should be able to make the ball feel like it's extremely small. I want the offense to feel like they're operating between two hashes, like the outside doesn't even exist. So that's the biggest thing for us, just being able to be a suffocating defense when I always feel like we're breathing down your neck a little bit, making it tough to do what you want to do.
100%. So when you coach these kids and these players, like what are some like do's and don'ts? Like you got to be able to do this if you're gonna play for me. If you don't, then hey, there's the road, there's the highway. Like you got to get this done if you're gonna play and suit up for my defense.
Nah, for sure. For me, man, it's just you, man. Effort and availability. If you got those two things, I can work with you. Now, if those two things missing, now you starting to miss a little bit of one, tutelage, and two, if you ain't can't get your butt to the ball, then you definitely can't play for us. So efforts are non-negotiable. So we won't even talk about it because to be out there, you got to have it. But that next thing, like I said, that availability aspect, being able to be on time when I'm supposed to be on time, be at the play when I'm supposed to be at the play, do the things I'm supposed to be able to do. Now I know I can count on you to do your 111 in the defense, and I trust you to be out there.
Period. How has the summer been so far, Coach? It's crazy to think about. We almost hitting the end of June now. It's gonna hit July. Coach, it's gonna get real. It's gonna get real soon. So how has the summer been so far?
Man, shoot, like you said, it's flying, man. We already in week 4. With day 2 coming up tomorrow inside of week 4. For us, man, it's been really good. The energy in the weight room has been great. The biggest piece for us, man, we've always kind of been known as a strong team that likes to get after it, but we also wanted to make sure that we've been taking care of our bodies too. So we've been doing a lot of stuff as far as like when we're not out camping or not out doing OTAs with other teams, because everybody know we be out there now. But when we are at home, we try to do a good job of being able to recover, be able to take care of our bodies, being smart. Kind of like the same piece I was coming from, being a great defender, but just being able to play every Friday is the best thing for us too, especially with some of the guys we got. So we've just been trying to, take care of our bodies. Obviously, we're still doing our thing in the weight room and then just getting out there and competing. Trying to see what other guys got, trying to make sure that we're doing our things the way that we can to be able to execute.
Exactly. When we talk about the Newton Rams, Coach, it's a team that's known all across Metro Atlanta. Everybody knows what Newton Rams are. So for you, how can this team get to where it wants to be, right? Like what are some of those goals you guys got this year? And I know we talked about it off the record, just trying to get over that hump. Like how can the Newton Rams do that?
So for us, first of all, the 2026-2027 team has 3 goals. Number 1 is to win the region. Number 2 is to win the state championship. And number 3 is to leave a legacy. And I think for us to be able to get to that next level that you're talking about, for us to really break that barrier, that second, third round barrier, and really get deep into the playoffs, after Thanksgiving, it's going to really be that last piece of leaving a legacy. Like, what does that look like for us on a daily basis? Like, they have to understand that we talk about the process all the time. I know it's overrated. I know every program screams about it, but what does my day-to-day look like that helps me reach my end goal? Like, we know for us that December 20th at 8 p.m., the state championship is being played for the 7A classification, and our goal is to be there. All right, so what does that look like reverse engineered on a daily basis? And we just trying to make sure that we hit those every day, and we feel like we'll put ourselves in a great situation to be able to actually get there and get over that hump. I feel like it's always us versus us. So the biggest person in the way is us. So we just get him out of the way and we be all right.
Period. As coaches, what do you feel like you guys have learned in some of this process? I know, like I said, I know you was at Llewellyn, Coach, but I know you know the story well. So as coaches, when you guys talk, what are some things you discuss of like, hey man, I learned this from last year. This is what we do better. I learned this from this part. Here's how we can kind of ingratiate this into the team where it's gonna make us better. So when we get tired, we're in that fourth quarter, we need a drive to put this game out of reach. We can do it. We can go to that third, fourth round.
Right. No, for us, man, I think it's just been like systems and organization. Like we've always practiced extremely hard, but now we're doing a lot of things where we're ingraining situations into our practice script as well. So it might be a scout script against you, but now we're also going against quote unquote a 2-minute situation here or a fringe situation there, or we're practicing against your red zone stuff there. So now when those real life game situations appear on a game day, it's no longer just expect this play. It's like, remember where we're at on the field, remember the leverage, what is our goal right here, how can we be complementary to the whole team, and then now we're able to make some of those things happen. So like really our whole thing is just to be in to practice a certain way. So like we've been doing a lot better just being able to tag off, how to be physical inside of certain parameters and just taking care of each other. And I think just the biggest thing, like I was saying earlier, man, as long as all of us stay on the same page and we got the kids behind us, man, we got a nice little roster this year.
1,000%. And then last thing on the coaches, just talk about some of your assistant coaches. They always get kind of lost in the fray a little bit when you're in the DC or you're the head coach or OC. But talk about some of these coaches that help you put these systems in place and put it together. Defensive backs coach, linebackers coach, defensive line coach. How do they help you put this so when you go on Friday night, it's easy?
Right, for sure. Nah, man, I definitely know. And then hands off to my staff too. They do an amazing job. So I'll start off with Javon Jackson. I appreciate Coach Smiley for that one. He a Sandy Creek guy. Came on over, man. He's doing an amazing job with our safeties, man. He has a lot of energy, has a lot of brains. He brings a lot to the table, man. He's doing an amazing job. In the room with him, I have Coach Lamont Simmons. He made his way over from Westlake. He's coaching our corners, man. He's doing a great job as well. He has a great rapport. He's also still freaky athletic. That's the crazy part about it. So he gets out there with cleats on and he's working jam drills and releases and stuff with the guys. So they are definitely ingrained in that stuff, man. And then our assistant head coach is also our linebacker coach. That's Coach Kyle Baker, man. And he does a phenomenal job when it comes to, I'm talking about route reg, run reg, how we're going to approach the ball game from a linebacker to a box standpoint, how it relates to the backside fits. If I got to be gone, he can run the whole ship. So, I mean, they do an amazing job. And I'm coaching my own D-line right now, but that's home for me, so it makes me no difference. So I'm just excited going, and they're so good at their job, I never have to look over my shoulder. Let's say that. So I'm super appreciative to all them guys, and they're doing an amazing job, and they deserve all the flowers. I'm just here, throwing stuff on the board, seeing if it works.
Period. And we're going to talk about this roster because I want you to break everything down, but I want to go just real quick to D-line. You're going to mention names just yet, but when you study defensive line, like, what does it take to be successful? What's some things you got to have as a defensive lineman in order to, create that pressure, know your gaps, know your schemes, gap integrity, right? Not letting them get outside. Like, how do you kind of perfect that as a defensive lineman?
For sure. For me, I think the biggest word is suddenness, and I like to say being sudden is God-given. So, I mean, obviously, it's a lot of stuff that we can work on, but it's something that when you turn on the tape, when they snap the ball and it's not in the quarterback hand yet, and them guys are already moving, hey, we can work good off all day, but that's just something that's in you. That's innate that I shoot. That's just what you do. Right. But for me, just for the ABC building blocks of it, like it's just, all right, what's my alignment? Okay, how can I be lined up perfectly to put myself in the best situation to play these blocks based on my system that I'm in? So once I have my alignment, okay, what's my vertical or what's my visual key? Now I know what I'm going to actually attack. And then after that, it's like, okay, how can I play through field? So for us, we do a lot of block recognition with our eyes closed. If we feel in the offensive lineman, oh, he went that way, bet I'm going to press him and go that way too. So it's just like, okay, get my butt off the ball, attack who I'm supposed to attack, and then have some follow through. And after that, it's just effort. If you can give me a whole lot of effort after that, I feel like you'll make a lot of plays, especially in our system. But in every system, don't shoot. If you get off the ball, you attack the right guy, and you do it with ferocity,
you can eat.
You can eat, coach.
I feel that, coach. All right, so we're going to talk about this roster. Before that, I want to talk about the exposure a little bit and just how the media coverage is out there out east. Because like I said, some good players out there, but they don't always get the same shine as other parts of the state. So can you walk me through that? Why do you feel like maybe that's the case that the east side, even though it's very talented, don't get necessarily the same love as the other metros?
For me, man, I just think like it's kind of a historical thing. Like I grew up out here, so you go 15 years ago, the Cab is they running the world between Stevenson, MLK, all them guys, and it's like, okay, well, if you go past them, it's just them country boys out there in the woods, So I get it not being so attractive as far as the media outlets go, but I think within like the last 6 years or so, definitely within the last 4, we've been doing a lot as far as being able to get our guys in the colleges for sure. I know right now we're number 4 in the state of Georgia with active college football players.
Wow.
So yeah, we're getting them in there and they're staying and they're playing. So we're just trying to, get our little piece of the pie. And then guys like yourself coming out here and showcasing what we got a little down 20 East. I think it's pretty cool. And, I think some people, like I said, they think we're further than we are, man. We ain't out there in Augusta. All right, we still in the metro. But I definitely get it. If you stay in the city, you ain't trying to make that drive for sure. But I kind of think that's part of it, just kind of like the landscape of how things are. But it's starting to build up and we're starting to get a bigger name. But now we got to just make sure that we can maintain it.
And then for you, coach, from what you've seen, just how you guys, like you said, the 4th most active players in college football. That's a big stat. And I think you guys just do a great job in terms of exposure. The Newton Boys Rams, when you look at the football account, the Instagram account, how do you guys just go about just getting your kids out there, even though, like I said, maybe the media coverage ain't coming and driving. It's starting to now, but before it wasn't. But you guys still pumping these kids and we seeing them go where they go.
Man, I hate to make this analogy, but we kind of thought about it like the dope game, dog. The better the product, they got to come see you, right? So our biggest thing was how good can our players be? What can our player development look like? How good can we make our guys? And then once they get there, what are they doing on the actual field there to make guys come resurface and reshop with us? Like Wingate gonna come see us every year. Like, you know, it's a Division II school. They playing in a high level conference, but they know every time they come get one, that man gonna be a starter within 2 years. He does certain things a certain way, and he's already strong enough as all your starters. So our biggest thing is just continuing to develop the product, develop the players, making sure that we're doing, you know, things to develop them off the field as well, so they can maintain once they get to school. And then shoot, man, it's pretty easy to keep them going as long as we keep that cycle going.
Period. I want to hit on that point. You brought up a great point. You talk about Wingate always coming. D2. Look, man, D2 football is still impressive, coach.
Oh, 100%. And
people sleep on that, and we don't talk about that enough. Why do you think, like, even sometimes the kids like, coach, I don't want to go D2, man. I'm trying to go D1. But going D2 can help you in the long run, coach, and get to the level you want to go. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Man, for me, I think everything is perception. A lot of guys don't play for love no more. If you play for love and self-development, you gonna put yourself in a place that's gonna be good for you. Like me, coach, you see me in real life. I'm 5'9", bro. I played Division III and Division II football. But guess what? They got me a scholarship. They got me some money. Now I'm doing what I love to do, and I'm pouring into my other guys. So, you know, even with us, we have guys that's extremely talented, but size is real. You can't go to Auburn if you're not 6'4", 6'5". So if you a 5'11" DN, I believe in you. I'm gonna coach you up. And guess what? There's a place for you, but that's not the place. So we tell our guys, hey man, if you got there and take care of your business, there's somewhere out there for you to play football, especially if you came through this program and you were able to play here. So it's just like, what do you want to do from there? And then what are your true goals? And then what are you really playing for? Are you playing for likes and clicks, or are you playing for yourself and love?
That's facts. I agree with that, coach. That's facts. How now, as a coach, I'm sure you don't run into it as much, but how do you balance that, right? Because like you said, some of the kids don't have a love for it. It's like, oh, I love what football can do for me. Like I can make millions of dollars. I can do this and that. I get some of this clout, you know, attention. Just as a coach, how do you balance that?
I mean, honestly, to be real with you, I think you make it hard to play for you. It's not easy being a Newton boy. We tell them all the time that you could be a 315 at all. They go home at 315. We go home at 8. It is what it is. Like, you know, like, so it's just a certain lifestyle you got to live. And then one good thing about us, man, a lot of our guys, especially the senior class, they grew up together. Like they played for East Metro Steelers growing up all the way through now. And it's just like that camaraderie. So to them, it doesn't matter if my homeboy going to Reinhardt, he going to LaGrange, I'm going to FIU, I'm going to Auburn. It don't matter. That's my guy. I know how he work. I trust him. I love him. We're going to go out here and got to get his money. So that's the biggest thing for us. We just try to be like, hey, man, you got to love your situation, love where you at, and then we can always get you where you need to go from there.
Simple, just like that, coach. So now it's time to talk about the roster. You know what I'm saying? I want you to put the boys out there, man. You sent me a great list. Looked it over. Check some of these guys out in their huddle. Put us on game, coach. Let's start from the bottom up. Let's go defensive line, linebacker, and then defensive back, safety, corners.
For sure.
Put us on game.
So defensive line, you know, I've been working with these guys. I've been loving the group so far. They led by Cameron Horn. Cam Horn's been a KBK guy. For us, KBK means knockback kings. When I first was at Newton with the original D-line, we sent 6 in the 2025 class, all the school. 4 of them went Division I. That year, between us and Grayson, it was a crazy year, dog, as far as this guy's getting out in the region. But he was there back then. He was a freshman. He was a baby back when them guys were kind of getting their love. And so now he's coming out. He's an App State commit. He's leading that group for us. And he's doing everything that he needs to do to be able to have a successful senior year. He's the only senior in the group.
Wow.
So after him, we have Cam Middleton. As far as a junior, man, Cam Middleton came in the spring and doing an amazing job. He's lifting. He's getting after it, man. He had an amazing spring game against Hebron, 2.5 sacks, 3 tackles for a loss. He's going to be a spark plug, an energy guy for us, man. Not the biggest guy, but he's going to get after you. And he works his tail off in there. And then after them guys, I got 3 guys. They all class of 29, man. They all rising sophomores, all over 6'3", all big fellas. We got my boy Dylan, my man Zay, and then my man Big TJ, Tyus Toops. He's 6'3", 315, rising sophomore. So we're gonna try to get him, make sure we get him rolling, man. And then I got my man Lil Rico. Rico's 6'3", he's 220. He's a rising 9th grader, man. So I think he's gonna do some great things for us. And then obviously we got some other young guys gonna come along the pipe. Linebacker wise, I got 2 seniors. No Sean Wilson, the linebacker, Emmanuel Holiday. Both starters last year coming back doing what they do. They'll be able to go play for somebody's school. And then I got a wild card in there, man. My man Tragic Usher. 6'1", 215. He can fly around about a 4.55 guy. He's learning the game. I'm super excited for him. But as far as firepower or star power, I guess that's in the defensive back group for us, man. Looking at the corner, we have Landis English. My bad, I'm on the move, man. My laptop decided it didn't want to die. I'm about to plug in. But yeah, looking at the corner, we got Landis English, man. I'll start with him because he committed yesterday. Proud of my boy. Going out there to Eastern Michigan, he's going to do an amazing job for them. Super physical on the edge. In the roof, we got Martez Jones, FIU commit. Super baller back there, man. Just super consistent with his day-to-day work and the things that he does. Also back there, man, Omarion Wallace, freaky athlete, super good football player, man. He's just it's kind of almost like backyard ball, but he has a really good brain on him too, so he can do those freaky things, kind of do that stuff outside where he make you look crazy, but also making sure that he's taking care of his business, knowing the actual playbook and helping us execute. And then, man, my favorite, I ain't gonna lie to y'all, is Braylon Miller, man. Dog, Liberty commit. He's a little shorter than the rest of them guys, but he's 195 for real, rocked up, and he don't mind leaving his feet and taking you up out of there, man. So yeah, that's the star-studded group as far as defensively goes. I think it was 3 or 4 guys, all of them committed D1 already, so I'm expecting them to do their job.
Period. Nah, man, them dudes was flying around. I don't really think there was many completions. Like I went to y'all Patty or OT, I guess you could say. I didn't see too many completions on the back end.
Man, if it is, we're gonna have a problem. They're gonna have to come see me, especially the system we play. Our whole goal is, man, we're gonna try to force guys to run the ball. They're gonna see a light box, and then that whole goal is we're gonna fit that too. So we're gonna see if you gotta call a whole complete game when you play us.
Love that, coach. So, all right, so you mentioned defense. I know you know about the offense. Everybody knows Kevin Hartsfield, but put people on game, man. Quarterback wise, wide receivers, running back. There's another one I seen today that's really good. He be training with Beckwith Sports Academy. He's like one of the top running back trainers. Tell me about him as well.
For sure, man. I guess I'll just start with the running back group, like you said, headlined by Kevin Hartsfield, number 1 running back in the country, man. Tootie's a freak. He goes out wide. He catches fades at the receiver for us. He motions around, plays running back, true running back, man. He runs extremely tough. He's extremely big. He's physical, man. Going on from him, we got a guy that's actually a grade younger than him. My man Carter Lumpkin, man. You know, the next one up, man. He's freaky. I think he's rated number 2 back in his class, right there behind Zach Watts. But he's another guy, man. He's built immaculate. Dad obviously was a great player as far as Stevenson, UGA in college. I mean, NFL went. So he's just following next up as far as that DNA goes, man. And then shoot, man, one of my favorite backs is actually Darius Hercules White. He's a 3-star. He's actually gonna be a senior. A lot of people don't know much about him because of the room that he's in, honestly. But he's a guy, man. The bowling ball gets to going and you ain't stopping it. And then now, man, he's a guy in shape. He's 205 exactly. He's rocked up. He's running 4.5. So I'm just excited about that room as a whole and what they're going to be able to do for us. I think we're going to be tough to deal with being able to run that thing, but I think we'll be able to get it in the air too this year. So looking at quarterback, we got Josiah Frazier, man. Lil Joe, he was a freshman last year, you know, sitting behind a 4-year starter in Deron Benson, man, but Lil Joe can go. He's extremely strong, man. He's a 300-pound hand clean guy. He's a dual threat guy. I'm excited to see what he does. He's going to obviously just be a sophomore, so it might be a couple growing pains here and there, but the explosiveness and things he's going to be able to create for us is going to take us a long way, man. Some of his weapons on the outside, you have Keon Standiford. I think he's 13 touchdowns away from the Georgia State record ever. Yeah, man, we're gonna get him there. I ain't gonna say try, we're gonna get him there. All right, so he's super explosive, as you guys know. Georgia Tech commit, he gets open, we give him bubbles, he slide outside, doesn't really matter, man. He can make some things happen. Then we got 2028 Devin Barber. That's my guy, 6'3", 200 athlete, lines up in the hip, lines up out wide, lines up in line, multiple offer kid already, just he's going to be a freaky guy, too. Another 300-plus hang clean kid as well. Guys be grinding in that weight room, brother. And then, well, we didn't talk about is those 3 safeties. They all go both ways, man. So they're pretty explosive on the offensive side as well. And add in. But we also have a couple other senior receivers, Ken Mays, Justin Burrows. They're going to do some great things for us as well. So we're super excited. Then up front on the O-line, got Big Carice. He has multiple offers, 6'6", 315. Great ball player for us. And then we'll have Cam Kelly. He'll be on the other side. He's a little undersized, but he's gonna be a 3-year starter at Newton, so you know what he's coming with. And he'll have multiple offers too. He'll probably end up going a little smaller, but shoot, man, he's gonna be able to rock and roll and play some ball. But that was pretty much the guys, man. We got a couple little secrets up our sleeve too coming up too, but them the guys, man.
Yes, sir, man. Nah. Some stuff you gotta keep to yourself. For sure. Coach, I want to talk just real quick, going back to the running back room. It feels like this is probably the deepest, right? Everybody goes for the headline at Hartsfield, but when you mention those names, Coach, I get the feeling of, hey, look, we're deep. Like, so we can keep him. We might not have to rush Kevin Hartsfield 30 times a game, right? 25.
Mm-hmm.
We might go 15 to 20 and then let Carter Lumpkin come in there, let Darius Hercules White come in there, and he can stay fresh. So when we in the playoff games, he's good, right? We can ride him a little bit more. Well, you get that same sense, Coach.
No, 100%, man. And then like the room is a lot deeper than we even made it seem. I didn't speak on Zayden Harden. That's Zach Harden Jr.'s little brother. He's a 10-9 kid, rising sophomore. He's in the running back room. We have Josh Walker. He's freaky, scat back little guy, another rising sophomore. So like you said, it's extreme depth in the room. They all do different things really well. So I think that's going to be good. I wouldn't be surprised if you see multiple of them on the field at the same time too. So it's going to be intriguing to see how we use them and get them guys going.
Okay. All right. Newton is on the up. I love to hear that. Newton's on the up.
Yes, sir.
What y'all got going just the rest of the summer, Coach? I know we got a couple more weeks. 4th of July's around the corner. Just what's coming down the pike a little bit for you?
For us, actually, man, we're slowing down a little bit. Going to start focusing on us a little bit more. We got one padded camp we're going to get to. But outside of that, we're going to end up staying at the crib for the most part, start trying to develop our systems, get all that special team stuff going, man, and try to be a 3-phase monster as we get it going. So once we get back off of the 4th of July, we're going to hit it, go hard, make sure we're lifting and stuff, and then try to get us like a fall camp, if you would, as far as like preparation, man. You know, a lot of people excited for our scrimmage game this year, so we are opening up the stadium, so it should be fun.
100%. So speaking of, Coach, I'm gonna share the schedule. You just tell me this whatever catches your eye. I know you said this to me too, man, but wanting to pull it up. You do got a really good schedule, man. I'm excited to watch it as well. You played obviously Hebron Christian, but when you look at the schedule, I mean, it has everything, Coach. You know, you got Stockbridge, you got Douglas County, Roswell, pretty good team we talked about. Warner Robins is a good team. Chandler Dyson, they're expected to have a big-time season this year. Thompson's a powerhouse in the smaller classifications. You know, and then you get into, obviously, the region, the Westlake, the Rockdales, the Graysons, the Archers, South Gwinnett. But this seems like a very complete schedule that helps with the power rankings, Coach, and has everything you need.
Exactly, Coach. I mean, that was the biggest thing for us, man. I mean, historically, man, we really don't duck smoke. Even in years that we died down, a little up, man, we'll come play you all. So that's kind of number one, the biggest thing for us being able to put together. And then we kind of like knowing where we at. You don't want to get to week 12 and you ain't played nobody yet. That's a dangerous feeling to have. So for us, like you said, Douglas County pops off immediately to me. We played them 3 years in a row now, I think, week 1, man, and they done got us each year, and each game has went down to the wire. It's been extremely close. All 3 games were within a touchdown, man. So that's the one I'm really excited about, seeing if we can scratch one off and get on the other side of that win column against them guys. And then, like you said, man, we follow it up with Douglas County. With Roswell. And shoot, man, Coach Thompson and them guys up there doing an amazing job as far as their game week prep, man. I know a lot of them guys personally, and they definitely gonna have the players to go with the coaches. So just to start off the year, we already getting it all fire, and I think those will be 2 good litmus tests to kind of see where we at. Excited about Warner Robins being able to play a good QB. Super excited about Westlake since it's homecoming. I still feel some type of way about that one, but yeah, super excited about that, man. Get over there, see what we got going on that day. And then obviously, Grayson, man. Traditionally, they've been the one. We've been the 2 region-wise, except I want to say, what was that? Nope, it was the one that year because we decided to lose to South Gwinnett. Even the year we beat them, we ended up being the 2 seed. So yeah, man, it's just time, man. We're trying to go ahead and win that thing for real. And then obviously, I respect everybody in our region. They all come to play, and they always come with good shots, especially against us. Archer's offense is going to be amazing. South Gwinnett's going to be extremely physical. So I just think, like you said, it's going to be a good schedule, a great one for the power rankings, man. But if we do everything that we're supposed to do, I think we can set ourselves up for a good seed in the playoffs and try to make that run that we've been talking about.
Yes, sir. Well, what is Newton, if you had to say, Coach, what is Newton's biggest rival? If you can't quantify it to a biggest rival, give me like the top top two teams, like, like, hey, if this new in football, we're gonna play them practically every year if we can, or we can't be playing them every other year.
Shoot, man. I mean, I guess I wouldn't say rival per se, but like we going on that type of tip, I would say Westlake, man. We played them the last 6 years, and it's always a good test. We know they're gonna have players. We know we're gonna have players. We know they're gonna have some attitude. We always like to get that one going. So, man, I think that's always a good one for us, man. And then obviously the Grayson, like just being at Newton for so long, being a Newton graduate, and then coaching here and then leaving and coming back, being able to see like the process of like guys Googling Grayson before you play them to now guys not caring who they are. I think that's a very exciting change, even though we might not have been super successful as of yet. But I think we might have just got that one win against them when we were coaching in 24. But the thing is, we're starting to get over they're perceived a certain way, and we think we all belong. So now I think we have better shots to be able to do it on a consistent basis. So, yeah, man, just I guess I wouldn't say rivals, but I would say games that we always excited for and would always want on the schedule.
Period. Talk to me real quick about the scrimmage. I believe that's a scrimmage, correct me if I'm wrong, but going against Stockbridge, like that's a pretty good one. You're gonna definitely get some good work going against them. Talk about that game a little bit.
Nah, man, I'm super excited. We've been talking back and forth like with their staff and the admin and stuff. So it's looking like we're gonna go 3 full quarters of ball, man. So yeah, we'll be able to see the varsity guys get after it for a long time, kind of see where both teams are at. We like going against Stockbridge, dog. They got a lot of energy. They have a lot of intensity. They're not never scared of a challenge. And then for us defensively, they have a gadget type of guy at quarterback as far as being able to make plays with his legs. And I think that's something that we need to go against early so we can go ahead and kind of temper that thing down and be able to make sure that we control the scramble drill and do a great job in the back end. So I think it's an exciting one just for us to get the season going. I think the social media guys, I love it. I think a lot of people will be out there. And then, like I said, it's us opening up our home stadium. All the schools in Newton got their own stadiums for the first time. We used to have to share. So we got our own turf, own stadium. We at the crib. It'll be the first opening day. So we excited, man.
So if you don't mind sharing, Coach. Oh, my bad. I had to take you off. Tell me a little bit about that, because I know the Cab, and I'm sure you know this, Coach. They always have a share, like even if they got a whole stadium in a school, they can't even play there. They have to go play shared. So can you talk about the aspect of, hey, this is Newton Stadium, and now everybody can come. We could really pack this thing out instead of having to share it. How did the share work?
I mean, sharing how it worked, man, that was just a process in itself. So it was between us, Eastside, and Alcovey, obviously. So every year at home game, you had to play one on a Thursday, one on a Saturday, and then the other 3 you would normally get on a Friday. Wow. So in the past, we've always played each other, so we can always steal one more, you know what I'm saying? But now we're not really playing each other. Everybody's kind of separated. But we think, being able to have your own home stadium gives us a sense of pride. Like we've always been doing a great job of getting our players out, putting them in front of the right coaches, but we could never do it in a sense of like really at home or having a true homecoming. So I know, especially like my age group of guys older than me, and even some of the guys I coach, just the alumni period, are extremely excited about having a true place to call home where they feel like they're paying their money, feel like they're paying to the Newton Rams, and they starting to be able to develop that brand more than just it's going into a pot. So I mean, we just happy to be able to have our own situation, man. It's 2026, so a long time coming. But we excited to have it. We're excited to get it open. We're going to take care of it well, man. And we think we're going to be able to do some big things, host some big games there, man, especially as the playoffs go along.
Walk me through the atmosphere. I've never been there. How is the atmosphere, Coach? Walk me through that.
Man, I'm not going to lie. So the atmosphere always was good, especially when we were playing, man. Especially the last 2 years I coached, I think we sold out every home game. Wow. So just as far as just people and community support, man, we got it there. So we got to be able to do it big for them. Newton's big from a landmass standpoint, but from like a community standpoint, it's really tight. Like I can't even go in the grocery store without, hey, Coach, what we got going this week now? So, yeah, man, you got to kind of be on your P's and Q's, like the community supports you, but they like, hey, now it's time. We got to do something. All right. So, yeah, man, I just think it's just going to be able to bring us together as a whole inside of one place rather than we were already doing it at Sharp. Don't get me wrong. We were breaking it down. We were getting guys loud. We had the little student section, all that good stuff. But now being able to do it at home, we can really try to make our place a place that's feared to be able to play at. You know what I'm saying?
Period. Now, real quick, on the other two teams that are in Newton County, obviously Alcovey and the East Side. East Side's usually a pretty good team that's out there in Covington. Why you guys don't play each other more?
politics. And I'll just leave it at that.
I respect that, coach. Okay.
Yeah, man. But no, normally when we do play, it's good games, man. 2 years ago they beat us. It's normally one of them things to where we normally win kind of consistently, and they sneak one in there on us, man. But like you said, they do a phenomenal job. Coaching staff is amazing over there. It's the same guys for probably like the last 15, 16 years. So you talking about systems and stuff in place. It's already there, and they'll be able to execute. They always doing more with less. Shoot, man. Like I said, they're normally a good team, especially game playing against us. They normally bring it, especially that first quarter or two, man. We be scrambling for a little bit to get it back together. So they know how to throw the curveballs at you. So I think they'll be really good. And they're in an exciting region this year too. With Jonesboro, Starbridge, all them guys. So
Good teams.
yeah, man. So it's all power to them. If they need help, I send them the film.
100%, coach. All right, so we got Coach Rance in the building. He's the DC just like you at Creekside. Says y'all do a great job. And so put us on game a little bit for the audience that's watching, Coach. Y'all, it looks like y'all are gonna be at the Paddock Camp on Wednesday. I'm definitely gonna try to slide and be there. So who y'all gonna be going up against, Coach?
Man, well, it look like we'll be out there. We're gonna get that work with Creekside, man. So that was the biggest thing for us, being able to match up with them guys. So our whole thing is we want to play big time teams. So if you'll see, like you said, you was at our OTA with Dutchtown, but right the day before we was at the OTA with Buford. We get around, we try to see the best teams that's out there, and obviously Creekside is beyond where that as far as where they at right now. I got a lot of respect for Coach Dixon. Crazy enough, Coach Dixon is also off the same coaching tree as me. He also coached for Coach Jared Laws back in the day. So man, know him a little bit from that kind of background spot of it, but they're doing an amazing job over there. My boy Coach P from the Swamp, man, he got that D-line over there going, man. So obviously, like you say, excited to get that work with them guys. Try to see if we can get a little bit better, man.
100%. Last two, I'm gonna let you go, Coach, before we bring Coach Smiley. I gotta ask you. So tell me if you can, whatever you can share about that coaching tree a little bit. Just walk me through it with Coach Jared Laws and you talk about Coach Dixon. It's a lot of people seem like that's come from that tree, yourself included, that are ultra successful. Tell me a little bit about how that coaching tree was and where all that started, if you don't mind.
Man, so for me personally, it started at Salem High School in Conyers. But I know, man, Coach Laws was a big time coach down in Miami, down in Florida. And then, that exodus that Florida had with all their coaches coming to Georgia because of the money thing, he was one of them guys. So he came up, man, and started doing a great job up here. And I believe, I'm not sure if his first job was Griffin or second, but he was one of the big time coaches during that Griffin time when they were really good. And then right before the teens, like 09s and stuff like that. And then he was able to make his way over to Charles Drew, and he started that program. I thought that's where he got some of them older coaches right above me on that staff as far as the tree goes, man. But like you said, man, head coach wise, he got Maurice Dixon, Jabari Wilder over at Lovejoy comes off his staff, man. Michael Johnson was the head coach at Salem recently. He's down at Veterans now in Middle Georgia. Coordinator wise, shoot, you got me, you got Jason Rudolph is two more guys. We got position coaches, man. Quentin Dixon over at Columbia, strength and conditioning. He does DBs and stuff over there, man. Coach Laws does it the right way, and he always is searching for the next guy. And I think that's kind of why his tree is starting to develop how it is. My bad. Coach Dre, I can't forget my boy, my boy Dre, Lazy the Barber, man. He was a DC at Locust Grove last year on their big run. He went over with Coach Laws this year over in Morrow this year, so he'll be a defensive coordinator over there. But yeah, man, I think he does things the right way, and once you kind of learn that way, it's kind of like ingrained in you from there, man. So his four steps to being a champ, still my 4 steps to being a champ, and I'm gonna put it on my team whenever it's my time.
Very good. All right, Coach. Last one. You talked about it with the kids. 3 goals, right?
Yes,
Talked
sir.
about state championship, right? You talked about winning the region, leaving a legacy. For you, coming to Coach Street that you come from as illustrious, what does leaving a legacy for you look like?
Man, for me, it's about your posterity, like what's coming from you. Like if you don't have nothing coming from you, if you're not fruitful, then you're not good dirt. If you're not good dirt, you're not really a good man or a good coach. So I kind of look at what's coming from my tree, and not just from a player standpoint. Like I've coached a lot of D linemen that are playing Division I football, but like what type of person are they while they're there? What are they doing outside of that fact? So for me, now my biggest thing and the reason I even started coaching was just because it was a guy that believed in me one day. So I'm gonna believe in a couple other guys and see how that works out for him, man. So for me, like my gauge and my success is more about what comes from me, what's the fruit of my labor, how them guys are able to impact others. Like, when it's my time to go stand in front of the good Lord, I just want to, hey, you did good, my boy. And I'll take it.
Period. Well, Coach Adkins, man, appreciate you coming on, telling your story a little bit, man, talking about these Newton Rams. I'm being in constant contact with you because I'm trying to get out there and see your boys.
Yes,
and
sir.
I got to get you back on for the season if you're cool with that when we got some of these big games this year.
Man, you know it. I love to chop it up with you, man. You got my number. Get in contact with me. Let's do it.
Let's do it, Coach. Appreciate you coming on.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you, man. Y'all have a good one. Tell Coach Smiley I said, what's up?
Yes, sir. I got you, bro. All right, man. There goes Coach Adkins, man. We got Coach Smiley in the building. What's going on, Coach? You hear me, Coach? You hear me, Coach?
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Can you hear me?
I can't hear y'all.
What's it? Let's see. All right. Can you hear me, Coach? You hear me?
I can see your lips, but I can't hear you.
Okay. Do me a favor, Coach. Try to leave and then come back.
Okay.
All right, y'all. We're gonna have Coach Smiley on. Did my phone die? My phone is dead. I don't know where Bacon at, but charging my stuff. All right, then we got Coach Smiley back. All right. Can you hear me, Coach?
Yeah, I'm good now.
All right, perfect, Coach. What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good, man. How y'all doing?
Doing good. Appreciate you coming on, Coach. So tell me a little bit of just how the offseason been going, Coach. How's it been for Sandy Creek and the Vinton State Champions?
Man, it's been a good summer so far, man. We've was actually at Northgate today, just us and Northgate kind of getting some work in, and we're down at Georgia last Wednesday. Went 6-1, lost in the semis to Brookwood. They ended up beating Grayson to win it all. So felt like we had a pretty productive day at Georgia. Did some work with Heard County and Carver Columbus and some other schools about 2 weeks ago, and we mixed it up with Griffin and Villa Rica that first week of June. So we've been kind of busy, man. Kids are getting after it, man. We lifting hard in the weight room, trying to get the guys in shape, man, so we can try to make another run at it.
Period. You got any other ones coming up, Coach, for the rest of the summer? Or you guys?
So yeah, we'll be at Central Carrollton Wednesday and Thursday for a paddock camp. I think it's supposed to be us, Central Carrollton, Westlake, New Manchester, Troop, Midtown. It's supposed to be like a couple other teams there. So we're gonna try to end the summer on a high note. Hopefully we can go out and have 2 good productive days. On Wednesday and Thursday to try to end the month of June on the right note.
Yes, sir. When you look at this team, Coach, I don't want to compare it to last year because it's a different team, but what have you liked what you've been seeing in terms of these camps, them competing at a high level, going against these top teams, and seeing some of these new kind of players develop and emerge for you that's going to be playing key roles this year?
Just like you said, some guys that are in some new roles, man. That obviously we got some some highly recruited guys, but I think about a kid who's our nickel right now, Aiden Dunn. Aiden's been in our program for going on 4 years now, and he's finally getting his opportunity, and he's making the most of it. So I can say that about Aiden Dunn, who's a nickel. Miles Odom, who's one of our backers, Eli Ware. Just seeing some guys that have been in our program, finally get a chance to get that shine. Like Sheldon Bliss is another kid that's kind of, trying to catch some steam right here with some colleges, and he's picked up some offers and stuff like that. So, just seeing guys who are, maybe in some backup roles who, we're dependent on to be starters this year, just seeing the development and the growth of how they've, since January, kind of how they've approached the offseason, to how they are right now as a summer. And, we just want to try to continue to keep molding those guys so that they can be better, once we step out, on in between the lines. So, very pleased with a lot of our seniors and their growth, and their development. And, very excited for these guys. I think a lot of these guys, like I said, they were in backup roles. So now they're getting their opportunity. So it's kind of, fulfilling to see these guys go out and make plays because they're capable of it. So, just trying to see that on a consistent basis. And I think that's what we try to use the summer for, try to get everything ready so that when we step out on, August 21st, we're ready to go.
Period. So you mentioned some of the key players playing new roles. I know sometimes every year, coach, you got to always depend on a young guy or a couple young guys. How does that look for you this year, coach? Any young guys we need to know for these Sandy Creek Patriots this year?
Oh, shoot, man, they're young as far as their names, you know what I mean? But like I said, we got 31 seniors on this upcoming season. So it's a lot of young faces, a lot of new names, but a lot of talented kids. If I had to pick out a young kid, I would probably look at one of our rising freshmen, Brennan Williams, call him B-Dub. He's been primarily a defensive back for us, but I think, we're going to try to work him on the offensive side of the ball, see if he can help us over there. Just trying to think, man. Justin Austin, Justin, played behind Nate and Chase last year. I think Justin's primed for a big year this year at corner for us. He's back there with a lot of, veteran presence with Corey and Nate. I think he's going to have a big year. One of our offensive linemen, Andrew Holland, I think Andrew's going to have a big year for us, playing opposite of Ryan. I think he's going to be good for us this year. Just so, there's a lot of guys that I could probably name, man, but we're gonna be senior heavy this year because, like I said, we got 31 guys that are gonna be rising seniors this year. So a lot of those guys, were special teams players or role players for us last year that are kind of stepping into some new roles this year. So it'll be a lot of new faces for the Patriots this year.
Certainly, coach. So obviously, big senior level class. I will go to the offensive side of the ball. You know about Caleb Hill. Had a good performance. He's had MVP level performances. How have you seen him develop, coach? I know you're gonna be leaning on him a lot this year in terms of getting this offense going, leadership. What have you seen from him going into his senior year?
Yeah, like you said, the leadership piece, man. He's been a little bit more vocal than he has been in the past. I think, my conversations with him, our offensive coordinator, our pass game coordinator, we've all, kind of had conversations with him to let him know, like, this is your team now. You were kind of, a sidekick to Amari last year, but like we're only going to be as good as Caleb Hill allows us to be, and we're trying to figure out the pieces up front so that we can protect him. We feel like we got some weapons on the perimeter to help him. We feel like we'll be running back by committee, with the amount of backs that we have coming back. We won't have an Amari type guy in the backfield, but we feel like, the 3 or 4 guys that we can put in the backfield will be able to help, take some pressure off of Caleb. So, obviously we're going to be, we're going to try to throw it around. But we still want to, be able to run the football when we need to, and we're going to try to play to Caleb's strengths. He's a dual threat guy. I know he kind of looks at it like as he's a passer, but When we played in the state championship game, our whole scheme was to try to use him as a +1 in the run game. So we're gonna try to do a little bit more of that to be able to help him out and help our offense out because you got to replace 48 touchdowns with Amari Latimer, and I feel like we that's a big task. So we're gonna ask a lot of Caleb, but it's nothing that I don't think he can shoulder for us.
100%. Well, Coach, I want to ask you about the schedule a little bit. I'm gonna try to pull it up here while I'm talking about it. But I hope this is warranted. I hope this don't feel disrespectful. But I feel like you guys didn't run from smoke this year when it comes to the schedule. Like y'all scheduled some of the best, and y'all are going at. I know before, Coach, wasn't your fault. You could only play 2, and then you had a heavy region. But I feel like with it being more teams, I feel like y'all really went after. Can you tell me about the thought process of that and some of these teams you scheduled this year?
Yeah, so part of it was coming off a state championship. You can't. A lot of people don't want to schedule. You know what I mean? And there were some dates that we reached out to some schools. Dates just didn't match up. I talked with Coach King at Carrollton, talked with Coach Dixon. We had talked about possibly doing the Corky Kill with Creekside, but we just felt like that wasn't what we needed for the South Side. You know what I mean? We felt like it was a situation where we were going to try to play Creekside. We wanted to play them at home and not have to, do it in the Corky Kill. So, it just worked out that Grayson was looking for some games. Douglas County was looking for some games, and we had trouble trying to schedule, schools that were kind of smaller, so to say. But it was a thing that we felt like as coaches, when we talked about it as our coaching staff, with the PSR and how they're doing the playoff rankings, we felt like Grayson and Douglas County were 2 schools that were going to win their region or possibly be region runner-ups based off of their regions. So, and those are things that help you from a point standpoint with the PSR. So having been in 3A and kind of understanding how that works, we kind of looked at it as let's go schedule the guys that are going to make us better. Even if it's 2 games, if we start out 0-2, we feel like Grayson's got the opportunity to be 9-1, 10-0. Same with Douglas County, 2 good football teams that we feel like can help us based on their records to be able to help us as we get into our playoff run. So that's kind of the thought process behind it. Obviously, it's going to make us better. Playing Grayson and Douglas County, getting into our region was, our first region game is against North Clayton, and they got one of the best quarterbacks in the country, in my opinion. So, I think those 2 games are going to help us be ready for, that region opener. So that was kind of the thought process behind it.
Definitely, Coach. And then I want to ask you a little bit, just what's your thoughts on the region as a whole? You talk about the first matchup, a really big one, playing against Justin Murphy, top quarterback in the country, 4-star prospect. You got Fayette County, you got Riverdale, you got Luella. They're usually a pretty good team. Hampton has a 5-star safety and Kamari Dorsey. McDonough's on the come up. What's your thoughts on the overall region as well, Coach?
Yeah, I think, obviously it's not, the region that we were in last year. But I do think there are some teams that, if we don't step out and play, they're going to give us, everything they got. And I think that starts with North Clayton. Like you said, you got the quarterback there at North Clayton who's really good. But I know he's got some weapons around him. So, you can't just focus in on him. Like you said, you mentioned Hampton and their 5-star safety. I played, Coach Ashley and his team before, so I know they're going to be ready to go. That'll be a big test for us. And don't really know a whole lot about the other region opponents, but I do know it's not necessarily about who we're playing. It's about us. You know what I mean? And that's one of the things that we try to preach to our guys. We feel like if we can go out and play the style of football that we want to play and do our job, we feel like we feel like we can play with anybody in the state.
Period, Coach. And then I want to ask you just, Coach, what does it mean to you, being one of the better teams on the South Side, and being able, like you said, trying to keep some of those top tier games home and home series. Just how do you feel about maybe some of the media exposure on the South Side? Do you feel like it's good, Coach? Do you feel like it could be better? And then talk about just trying to get more of that exposure, more of that attention, to all the great programs like yourself.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely think it's there. Obviously, I think when you mention the South Side, I think, between us, Creekside, Langston Hughes, Westlake, I definitely think, we get our fair share of, exposure. But like you say, we always want to try to compete with those guys and make sure we're a premier program in the state. And I think if, as long as we can continue to do that, that exposure that our kids need to have the opportunities to go play at the next level, I think they're going to always be there. That's one thing I can say about being at Sandy Creek. We're always going to have coaches come through there because of the talent that has been there in the past. We may not, I think it's a situation where they just know Sandy Creek is always going to have players. You know what I mean? And I've been blessed. I know our coaching staff has been blessed to be able to have those high caliber athletes. But I think it's a fair share, from even, stretching down to Noonan a little bit further. I think some of those schools with East Coweta, Noonan, I think, from Noonan on up, I think the South Side is representing for the state. You know what I mean? I think you got high quality programs, stretching as far down to Noonan. I'll even go as far with Troop and LaGrange, Callaway, those guys down there. I definitely think the South Side, that 85 stretch, has definitely have something to say when it comes to the state of football, and how we play and the type of athletes that we have.
Definitely, coach. And so obviously you guys are one of the standards when it comes to that. Just if you don't mind sharing, coach, just how cool is it playing some of those matches? I know last year was in your region, like Troop County, or LaGrange, I should say. You've played the Troops, like all those been in your regions. You played some of those top teams. Just how cool is that matching up with those teams and being able to kind of, like I said, put that whole South Side on kind of that exposure, that map.
Yeah, I mean, it was just our schedule last year, man. We went 15-0, man, but we didn't play no slouches. I can tell you that. Troop was a big game for us, a region championship. It was a big game. It was a close game up until halftime. We felt like one or two plays that we made on our end kind of put the game away. But they're going to be reloaded again. They got a lot of guys coming back, playing against LaGrange. We played LaGrange 4 times in the last 2 years. You know what I mean? So, being able to go 3-1 against them, winning the big one, after losing to them last year in the second round, I think that was real big for our kids. We've been in some big games, you know what I mean? And I think we got enough kids coming back that have been in big games to where it's not going to phase us. You know what I mean? And I think how we try to train our kids, how we try to get our kids prepared, I think it's only going to help them, facing a Grayson, facing a Douglas County, facing a North Clayton, facing all of our region opponents. I'm not, like I say, I don't know a lot about all the other region opponents outside of North Clayton and Hampton, but I know, like I said earlier, if we don't step out and play Sandy Creek football, we got, an opportunity to get upset. And that's one thing that we're trying to prevent this year.
Period. Coach, I want to talk about some of your success, some of the things you've accomplished in your career. Just talking about that part of some of your coaching staff as well. Just who do you attribute your success to, coach, and being able to make this impression on the kids and win at a high level? And then talk about your coaching staff as helping you put this thing together, coach, putting this ship together.
I come from an old school lineage, man. Grant Chestnut, who's now currently he was at Kennesaw State, had a stint at Navy for a little bit. He's now the offensive coordinator at Bremen. So I kind of got started under him, was wing T guy, and kind of made the move to the spread offense, and kind of was under Coach Zachary. Rico Zachary, who's now at East Carolina. He's one of my best friends, man. We went to school together, was in each other's weddings, things of that sort. So, that's kind of my lineage, so to say, as far as guys that I've coached under. And I've always been a guy that if I'm not trying to steal something from somebody else, then I ain't trying as a coach, you know what I mean? But I have to give all the credit in the world, man, to my coaching staff, man. They, I can't do what I do without those guys, and we were kind of talking today. My son's big in basketball right now. He's got a little AAU tournament when we get back from the dead week, and it's a 4-day trip. And I just told the guys, I said, man, I'm gonna go down for 2 days and come fly back up so that I could be, practice. They like, nah, coach, go do what you need to do. We got it. You know what I mean? So, all the credit in the world to my staff, man. Our defense coordinator, Coach William Haywood, he does a phenomenal job with our kids, man. I can't say enough about him and just his preparation to help get our kids ready for Friday nights. From just he's a math teacher, so he's a numbers guy, and he's always trying to crunch numbers to make it make sense for the kids, and he shows it to the kids so they can see, where we struggle, where we're good at, things of that sort. So I've kind of taken something from his book and used that offensively, to show our kids, from the number standpoint. We struggled on third downs, the year before last, and we made that an emphasis going into this past season. And we were better. I think we were around 52 to 56% on third downs, and that's that. I think that was huge for us offensively. We try to make sure on both sides of the ball we're winning first down. We're winning first down offensively by getting 4 yards or more, and keeping and when we're on defense, trying to limit offenses to less than 4 yards. But those are things like we have a first down situation in practice, that we work so that our kids don't, they're not unfamiliar with situational football. I think that's one thing we do a really good job of, is getting our kids to understand situational football. But I shouted out Coach Haywood, Coach Godfrey, our defensive line coach. He's also does a good job with our special teams. I think this year everybody that I talked to said that we were much improved on special teams, so that's a testament to Coach Godfrey. Coach Gotel, who's at Griffin now, he coached our DBs. Coach Boozer does a really good job. He's a young coach that I think is going to be a really good coach as he continue climbing up the ranks. Coach Jeter, who's no longer with us, he stepped aside. He helped with our defensive line. Coach Wright, who was our offensive line coach, really did a really good job with our offensive line. Amari had a lot of games where he was untouched, first and second level, and I think Coach Wright had a lot to do with that, as far as getting our offensive line ready to play. Coach Bo Hurd, who was our coordinator last year, who stepped down as well. He, was our running backs coach as well. And then Coach Bailey, who's our receivers coach, and Coach Hightower, both of those guys help with the receivers. I got to give all the credit to those guys because they allow me to just be a head coach. I like to coach ball too, but there's a lot, when you talk about being a head coach, you got to deal with parents, you got to deal with administrators. There's a lot that you have to deal with that I know when I step out on the grass, they have it. They got it taken care of. They talked about it. They ran it by me. And I don't run a dictatorship type program. I let my coaches coach, and they know that, so, and they have the freedom to say what it is that they feel. We're going to talk about it and make sure we're all on the same page so that when we get out in front of the kids, they can't question anything that we're trying to do. So, all the credit to my coaching staff, a lot of good guys, a lot of good fathers, a lot of good husbands that we can surround our kids with, so they see what it looked like. You know what I mean? Because the ball's gonna stop one day, and I think that's big. That our young men need to be able to see that, see what a father looks like. Coach Bailey's son has been, he's going to the 8th grade. He played in the B2C game, but he's been working out with us every day. But
Wow.
they see that. They see a dad that's bringing his kid to do what we do, to try to win and show them what winning looks like, So that's something that I try to pride myself on, and making sure that I got a staff full of guys that are good husbands, good fathers, good teachers, and good coaches, so that we can try to prepare these young men to be more than just football.
That's what it's about, coach. At the end of the day, more than football, being a good man, good husband, and father figure, as you mentioned, coach. So, a couple more. I'll let you go. What are some of the big pillars you would say, coach, of this football program? What are some things it takes to be a Sandy Creek Patriot? You would say.
Uh, Discipline. We're really big on discipline. Mental toughness. That's one thing that we try to pride our kids on. When we're conditioning, we don't allow them to bend over after we get done running sprints. Just that mindset of knowing that, hey, we got another one coming. But
Yeah.
when we talk about those things, and we went to Griffin, and this isn't any knock to Griffin or anybody else that was at our 7-on-7, but Creekside was there as well. You had us in Creekside, and we get done with the 7-on-7. You
Y'all
got
both
Creekside
suspended.
running on you got Creekside running on one end, and we're running on the other end. And I constantly tried to preach to our kids. Our coaches were preaching to our kids, hey, the two teams that are still out here running after they've just got done practicing are two state champions. You know what I mean? So it's a mindset. It's a different mindset that I've never experienced in all of my 17 years of coaching before I got to Sandy Creek. And it's one of those things that, as I continue to, hopefully I'm at Sandy Creek for a while. But if I'm not and I'm able to move on, I feel like I have a blueprint to be able to teach kids about discipline and the mental toughness side of things that it was one of those things that was already instilled when I got there to Sandy Creek. You know what I mean? And we've just tried to tailor it to, my style. But it's, our kids, I always tell our kids the standard is gonna be the standard and the expectation is not gonna change. So you can either get on board or you can turn your stuff in. It's one of the two, but we're not gonna change. We're gonna do things the way we want to do them because it has worked. And that's one of the things we try to preach to the kids, like continue to buy into what we're telling you because it yields the results that you're looking for.
Period. I gotta ask you this, coach, before I let you go. What is the best coach, one, and then what's the best player you've ever coached against in your career?
Whew. Best coach I've ever coached against. My first playoff game, I had an opportunity to coach against Alan Chadwick at Marist, and they beat us down. I was at Central at the time, so I would say just being able to see how that you always hear about Marist, but you don't really know about it until you see it live and in person, and then be able to see it live and in person and just kind of his cool, calm demeanor, uh, and just how he allowed his coaches to coach and kids to play. It was very impressive. You know what I mean? We didn't have a chance in hell to win the game, but to be able to experience that, I would say he was probably the best coach that I've coached against. And then best player, if I had to pick, I would probably say Reuben Foster. When I was an assistant at Central Carrollton, had an opportunity to play against Reuben Foster. We had a back that we thought was really good, and man, Reuben came up and met him in the hole, man, and our back didn't play the rest of the game. You know what I mean? But he was a dominating presence on the defensive side of the ball, man. So just having the opportunity to see him play sideline to sideline, I don't think there was anything that he couldn't do on the football field. So if I had to say Reuben Foster would get that nod from me. But if I had to say who the best player that I've coached, it would by far be Amari Latimer. I think he's going to be a guy. I think he'll be a Sunday guy. And a lot of things. One thing that I try to talk to people about when I talk about Amari, he's probably by far the best teammate that you can ever be around. Best teammate that I've ever had an opportunity to coach. We had a lot of guys that had an opportunity to score touchdowns that probably don't play a whole lot. And when those guys reach the end zone, Amari is sprinting onto the field to congratulate those guys. And he's just a good teammate, a good kid, a heck of a football player, man. And I'm excited for him and his future and what he's going to be able to do at West Virginia.
Period, coach. Last one, I'll let you ride, coach. What does a successful year look like for you and these Sandy Creek Patriots? What would be a year you like? All right, we got it done. Like we did what we were supposed to do.
I mean, at this point, when you reach the top, man, I think the only thing that is acceptable is going back and getting it done again. So for me, that's the goal. To get back to the bins and try to win it again. The thing that we've been preaching to our kids is going to be a lot different. I haven't won a back-to-back championship, but everybody that I've talked to that has, they always say the second time is the hardest time. You know what I mean? So. And that's what we're trying to prepare our kids for get them to understand, like, we're not going to have the blowout wins that we had last year. We're stepping out against a Grayson and a Douglas County. So those opportunities are going to be a lot tougher than what we experienced early on in the year. Those are going to be what I consider playoff type games. You know what I mean? And we're starting with those right off the bat. So we're trying to get our kids prepared for that. But the ultimate goal, man, is to get back to the bins, man, and try to win it again and win a 6th state championship for Sandy Creek High School. I think anything less than that is going to be a failure. You know what I mean? I think that's how our kids look at it. I think that's how our coaches look at it. I think that's how the Sandy Creek community looks at it. So, we got our hands full, but it's it's an opportunity that I think our kids will step up to the plate, and we're gonna go down swinging. If we don't win it all, you're gonna get Sandy Creek's best shot. I can promise you that.
There it is, Coach. Well, it's always a pleasure talking to you, Coach Smiley. Appreciate you coming on, always representing Southside in the best way. I'll definitely be by there, man, for a game this year, man. So I'm probably holler at you, Coach,
All right.
to try to come and cover your boys, man. But thanks for coming on.
No, I appreciate you having me, man.
Yes, sir. Anytime, man. Coach Smiley in the building, man, from Sandy Creek. Appreciate him coming on to the show. Just me today. You know what I'm saying? So appreciate everybody tuning in, man. I was running it up. So make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hype it up. And that's gonna do it for today's Sizzling News podcast, man. That's all we got. We're gonna try to get a coach pretty much every single Monday, leading all the way up to the season. That's gonna be the new thing. We'll see if we still do the panel how we did it last year in terms of the regular season. You know what I'm saying? I think that was a lot of fun. A lot of people enjoyed it. Us talking high school football. Probably will still try to get a high school coach on too. You know what I'm saying? It might be a scenario where we do, okay, everybody join in at 7:15. We do the show, the panel for an hour. Then we bring on a coach, wrap it up. That's it. Might do that for the season. Y'all let me know down in the comments, the high school football audience that follows me. What you guys think about that? But definitely the rest of the summer, leading up until week 1, we'll have a coach on every single Monday night. All right. So for you guys tuning in, it's just Sizzling News. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Till then, as always, peace and love.